My name is John Walker. My father was Charles Van Walker, and my mother Rita Joy Lindstrom Walker. My dad's parents were Paul Dean Walker and Helen Ball Walker. My mother's parents were Morris Lindstrom and Thelma Briggs Lindstrom. My grandmother Thelma's parents were William Briggs and Clara Jane Briggs.
Well, growing up, we had a lot of heritage here, the Ball Brothers, Leland, Vernon, and Ronald Ball. In my later years, in my teenage years and that, I ended up working with John Ball, who lived here. He was the son of Vernon Ball, and he had range up in Spencer. And we used to take those sheep up there around the 15th of June. And then we would pick them up in September and bring them back to Hamer. He got this great idea one time that they could buy these old school buses and they could take all the seats out of it and you could back it right up to the loading chute. But you would leave the two front seats open, and so after you loaded all those sheep in the back, then you would bring the dogs around and they would come up on the bus and sit in those front seats. As a kid, I would start out driving this school bus loaded with sheep, and it stunk so bad, the fans that used to be on the driver, you would have those going full blast and all the windows down. And right where the tire well is, one of those ewes could stick their head out the window. And so I'm driving down the interstate, and that sheep has its head out the window, and these people are coming by and looking at these sheep, looking at you. And then when you get up on the pasture, you would pull up there and you'd pull that front panel, and those sheep would walk out the front and get off of that bus. I was driving down the dirt road, and this kid had missed the school bus. I pulled up there and turned the lights on and pulled the stop sign. And he went to get on that bus and saw those sheep. You should have seen the expression on his face. But it's experiences like that that you never forget.
A lot of my memories of Lewisville are because of the Ball Brothers. Vernon used to take us out to the farm, and A.V. Ball and John Ball, R.J. Ball, all of the Ball brothers were really good to us.
Every time we went to Lewisville when I was a kid, my dad would always say, Ronnie Ball hit Bud Ball in the eyeball with a snowball and made Bud Ball ball. Oh, that's a good one.
The Nazis invaded Poland. The President of the United States declared a national emergency, and the city of Lewisville followed suit, and they vacated the street that runs along my house and donated that to Union Pacific. And my grandmother and grandfather Ball donated some property there also, so that the railroad could have a maintenance yard. They built a loading dock there for sheep and cattle. That Lewisville station, operated by the Ball Brothers, was crucial to the war effort, and it was still there when I moved to Lewisville in '85.
Well, during World War II, when all the men was shipped off to fight in the war, they would send German prisoners over here to Midway.
And they were available to use as help. They weren't high class criminals or whatever. They were just normal troops.
Those prisoners are the ones who helped plant and harvest the crops during the war. I remember my grandmother used to feed them, make a pot of stew or something at night when they were done. They weren't supposed to feed the prisoners. They were supposed to just be on their rations or whatever. Somebody asked her why she did it, and she said, "Bill, I've got 3 sons and a daughter serving in the military right now. If they were captured, I hope somebody would take care enough to want to take care of them that they might survive."
Prisoners were fed on Army rations, gave them 10 cents an hour or 80 cents a day in coupons, which the prisoners could use to purchase needed articles.
They're probably happy to not be over there fighting. And Mother would always tell the story during thrashing season. She would have to cook meals for this German thrashing crew. And she says, boy, they could sure eat a lot.
Well, and this building used to house the German officer prisoners of war. Right. It's still owned by the Ellsworths, that building.
The older German prisoners, they hated it. They didn't like America, they hated the Americans. But the younger prisoners, younger ones, they liked it over here. And a lot of them didn't go back.
We pulled a lot of crap when we were kids. We'd probably end up in jail if we were kids today. Me and John Ellsworth, Doug Walker, and Tom Knighting got involved from time to time. And we decided one night to steal Lee and Patsy Hinckley's trampoline and move it to the church lawn. When we came to church, we pull up, and my dad, I can still remember his words. He said, "I'll be go to hell. The church has bought the trampoline."
That's the first time I've ever heard that story.
Loose lips sink ships, Ma.
I told Clyde that I had never heard my dad swear or cuss. And one day Clyde went over to help my dad with some rounding up cows. And on the way home he says, "Your dad does swear."
If they work with those kind of animals, I'm not going to hold against them if they swear. Hell, it's just the way the farmers and ranchers talk.
Did you ever know Tomy Lowder? No, he became Dr. Lyle Lowder up at Ricks College. But back in his high school days, school was furthest away from his mind. And they lived across the street from their service station, McBrown service station. Harold Lowder worked at Canner Seed, and he came in one day about 10 o'clock in the morning and went back and got a bottle of Coke. And Tommy came in, and Harold Lowder says, "Tommy, what time does school start over there?" And he says, "Hell, I don't know, Dad. I've never been there when it started."
When I think about Tomy Lowder, I think of what good friends he was with my dad and how much stuff they did together. Tommy always had a $100 bill, so when they'd go to pay for something, nobody could cash the $100 bill, so my dad would pay. And finally my dad took change for a $100 bill, and when Tommy put it down, my dad just took it and made change. And that was the end of the $100 bill.
I better not say that.
Well, go ahead and say it.
Well, Vaughn and Tommy used to hang around a lot before they got married and stuff. I know they did a little, I don't know if they was drinking buddies or not, but anyway, I know Warren Goody was with them. My dad once in a while.
Something bug got a hold of him, and he went to school and graduated and went to college and got his doctorate degree in biology. And he became one of the most popular professors at Ricks College down the road. Robert Rounds had a class from him in there and called him Tommy, because they practically grew up together. And Dr. Lowder came down and after class and got a hold of Robert Rounds, and he says, "Don't you ever, ever call me Tommy again in class. It's always Dr. Lowder up here for you." But he says, when I come to Lewisville and we see each other in the service station, if you call me anything but Tommy, I'll kick your butt.
One day while we were at school, maybe a month or so into the college year, Tommy just happened to bounce down the stairs to the basement apartment. Well, he happened to walk in at the moment we were gathered around the table playing cards. Said, "Hello, boys, deal me in." And he played a hand with us, insisted on being part of us all, and it was a delight to be with always. And then afterwards, he put the cards in his pocket and he said, "Boys, you need to be good students. You're up here to study." And he looked me right in the eye. And he said, "I know from our previous conversations you're interested in medicine. And you can't do it if you're playing cards all the time. So he said, you need to buckle down and get A's in your classes all the time."